Robo Umps coming to MLB spring training in 25 with hopes that it comes to the MLB as early as 2026. Now, I am kind of a middleman, Dan, on this one.
What do you mean? What do you mean on this one, Nick?
I usually am on a lot of them, but I am for this for the egregious balls, like bad calls. That sentence was really bad. I'm really sorry. I am for this rule change and the robo umps for the egregious calls that are like really bad, 8 inches outside the zone or right down the middle for ball one. Like those need to go away. And that's, I think, ultimately the point of these. It's not to get rid of the borderline calls and the umpire unique, their unique strike zones. That's not the point of this.
Yeah, you're
The
not trying to
point of
nickel
this,
and dime every call they make.
right. And in the minor leagues, how it works right now is each team gets 3 challenges. So ball comes over the plate, it's called a ball. The catcher can tap the helmet and the ump will go out and check the board on the Jumbotron. Says it's a strike, he'll call it a strike, and he keeps his challenge. So you get 3 wrong challenges. Once you're wrong 3 times, you're done for the game. That's it.
Now this MLB is basically putting that ABS system in though, right? Like if I read this right, they're basically putting in the same because it is a challenge based system. It's a virtual strike zone that's used for a challenge based system, which in my mind says this is the ABS system. Is that what they're putting in?
I believe so. Yes, it's the ABS system.
Okay.
They're putting it in 13 ballparks, I think I read. 13 spring training ballparks.
Okay, because spring training only they're testing these.
Yes, it's not going to be during the season in 2025.
Yeah, because
just in spring training.
There is and Manfred mentioned this the other day, there is a collective bargaining requirement where they have to provide so much evidence of efficiency before they can consider putting this in place. So I believe spring training test is step number 1. Then a limited run in ballparks during the regular season is step number 2, and then a full rollout is step number 3. So like MLB is going through the steps to say, hey, like let's prove this thing works and fulfill all of our criteria in the CBA, so we can then put this thing everywhere. Because Manfred's comment was, we have a collective bargaining agreement requirement to do this in a way in which we can prove its efficiency, but we want to have this everywhere in 2026.
Yeah. Which I mean, it makes sense. Like you want all the kinks out. You don't want, and everyone I think has an issue with the height of the strike zone. So like, we'll say in an all-star game, right? Aaron Judge comes up, his strike zone is, huge. And then Jose Altuve comes up behind him and his strike zone is obviously different, right? With an ABS, how can they tell where that strike zone is? How do they change it? We don't know.
Yeah, and that's part of the system is supposed to be able to adjust for that because they're basically going to effectively they create a virtual strike zone for every player,
right?
And then as the player's up, that's the strike zone they compare it to. But I'm excited. Like I'm looking forward to seeing this in place because I'm with you, Nick. I don't want to see them nickel and dime umpires and like every little like if it's a ball off the plate and you get running up, too bad, swing the bat.
Right.
But if it's 6 inches, 7 inches off the plate, Jesus, that's terrible because you're not going to swing the bat. Yeah. We were always raised, protect the plate, 2 strikes, protect the plate. If it's close enough where they could call it, you better be swinging.
Right.
7 inches off the plate is not close enough to be called.
No.
So there's definitely a place for this in the game. There's definitely a need to knock down some of these egregious calls. I do not want to see them turn this into a nickel and dime every ball that's on the edge, which right. I don't think you will see that, but I do want to see them get rid of some of these heinous calls that honestly change games.
Yeah, I agree. And I posted a video when I went to the Durham Bulls last summer. It literally takes 7 seconds. I mean, either the batter or the catcher just taps the top of their helmet. The umpire stands up, turns around, and says, batter's challenging the pitch. They turn to the Jumbotron, watch the pitch hit the strike zone, and then he makes the right call, and then game goes on. That's it. So they can't challenge every single pitch. It's not like they're sitting there every single pitch be like, nope, that's a ball. Nope, that's a strike. 3 wrong ones, and then you're done. That's all it is in the minors. And I would imagine that's what it's going to be in spring training and stuff going forward. So
yeah, which would be great.
yeah. Yep. But again, you're gonna have teams that find loopholes around it, and which, we've seen a couple games in the minors end on Robo Ump calls because they either got blown or the batter just had like a random challenge left. So he's like, "Hey, what do I have to lose?" Challenged it and ended up winning it. But so I mean, you are gonna have things like that, games ending on a Robo Ump call. It's gonna happen. But I'm for it. The egregious calls need to go away. They're just getting too bad.
Yeah, and it's not even that we're saying that the umpires are like blowing the calls. Like when Michael King throws a slider that's got like 97 inches of break, that's hard to call.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of these balls that are they're hard to call. This is not to belittle the umps. It's to help them because there's some pitches that are just really hard to catch.
Yeah.
And they haven't said, at least I haven't seen anywhere where they said which ballparks it's going to be in, but I'll be curious where it
Yeah.
ends up.